New information just surfaced regarding LEGO Star Wars in 2026. And honestly, this is some of the worst news I have seen so far regarding LEGO Star Wars next year. Despite the bad prices we saw in 2025, it might be getting much worse next year. And that is mainly regarding the smart brick that will be introduced to LEGO Star Wars in 2026, and how this will also change LEGO Star Wars minifigures completely. Today I want to talk about these new leaks and the effect the smart brick might have on LEGO Star Wars in the coming years. So a while back we got to see some information regarding the Smart Play integration LEGO wants to implement in its sets next year. And in early 2026 it is said that we will be seeing a lot of this in several different LEGO themes. It seems like eventually Smart Play will be everywhere in the LEGO product line, from junior sets to things like Technic 2. And then in many of the licensed themes such as Star Wars and the upcoming Pokemon theme as well. It will seemingly work with some new apps or games, and also be powered by smart bricks, creating lights and sounds, and these pieces will potentially be connecting to these apps and games provided as well. I will link the full thread on this in the description below if you are interested in reading the posts in detail for yourself. Anyway, as we already know, we will be getting a few sets next year that will specifically be made with the smart brick, one of which being Luke Skywalker's X-Wing Starfighter. This is seemingly going to be a $100 set, but I have also heard rumors that it might be a $70 set, but all things are subject to change until we have official confirmation. We do however have an idea of how this one could look like based on some leaks we saw quite a while ago, and some sketches as well, and it looks very bad. There is no other way to put it. It will seemingly look like a mini chibi X-Wing that is basically a little bit more fleshed out version of the 4 Plus X-Wings, so that is incredibly disappointing considering the price it will likely cost. We are also seeing the same kind of set for Vader's TIE Advanced, although there are no images of the set and we have no idea how it could look like just yet. But the sad reality is that it will not compete with previous versions of the TIE Advance, and once again it might feel incredibly overpriced because of that smart brick included. Now we also have another smart brick set rumored for the March wave, which will have 962 pieces and retail at $160, which once again already sounds incredibly overpriced. We have no information on what this set might be or might include, other than that smart brick of course, and I honestly think it might be a downscaled Millennium Falcon. I will get to my reasoning for that in a little bit. Another note is that just because a set does not include a smart brick, it doesn't mean that it isn't made for smart play. That alludes to the fact that several of the other sets in this March wave, and later in the year as well, might have some smart play features included, which could be interesting, but it will affect the minifigures included. And that is where we get to the new information that just came out, and that is regarding Smart Play Minifigures. A picture leaked of how this minifigure will look like, with a farm boy Luke Skywalker, showing a unique printed back and printing on the sides of the torso too, which I believe we have never seen on standard minifigures before. The torso is apparently permanently fixed to the hips, and the minifigure will be a bit heavier than your standard minifigure, as there are more components inside allowing for the smart play connection. I think this looks very bad, and I am in no way excited for this, and I am just hoping that this will only be done for a few sets every year and not become the new standard for all minifigures in a few years' time, as that will personally ruin LEGO Star Wars for me. But that said, Luke will not be the only one, as we have a whole list of these minifigures, which also gives us a slight idea of what sets we could be getting next year as well. Other than Farm Boy Luke Skywalker, we also have a Training Luke and a Pilot Luke, and then we are also getting a Smart Play Yoda. I think it makes sense that Luke and Yoda will be included in the same set, perhaps something like a Yoda's hut, unless that is all included as a mini build in the X-Wing as well, which might be possible and has been done before. We are also getting Han Solo and Chewbacca as Smart Play minifigures, and I think that alongside characters like Farm Boy Luke, and perhaps a few others that are not on this list, can be included in some Millennium Falcon set, as I think as LEGO is experimenting with this new type of Smart Play set, they might want to get as many of the iconic Star Wars ships on the shelf as soon as possible, such as the X-Wing and perhaps the Millennium Falcon too. At 900 pieces, it will be significantly smaller than previous Millennium Falcons, but considering how downsized the X-Wing will become, it isn't impossible to imagine LEGO doing it with the Millennium Falcon as well. We also have Greedo as a Smart Play character, which could be included in a Millennium Falcon set as well, or perhaps it could mean that all these minifigures will be included in some Mos Eisley set instead. We also have Palpatine and Vader, which might both be included in Vader's TIE Advanced, or perhaps some other Imperial set that will be revealed as the year moves on. On this leak, it also states that there will be even more Smart Play minifigures, beyond what this list states. That makes me think that these minifigures cover only a single wave of sets, being the March wave most likely, and we might have a much larger amount of these Smart Play minifigures, including some even more beloved characters from different timelines as well. And I am in no way excited about it. But of course, this could be nice. A new type of minifigure that will get new and younger fans excited perhaps. However, I think it takes away a great bit of creativity out of LEGO. What makes LEGO so good is that it promotes imagination. You don't need flashing lights or voice lines coming out of your minifigures. Another thing is that the adult audience is ever rising as well, and people collect minifigures to have on a shelf with no intention to ever use for play. I think the Smart Play integration will create a massive divide in what a playset and an adult welcome set actually is, and that is not a good thing. There are a lot of adult collectors who prefer playsets, who prefer getting beloved ships and vehicles in a minifigure scale that still looks good on display, or iconic ships in a smaller than UCS version that is cheaper to get and easier to display in small areas. Additionally, a lot of people collect simply for the minifigures, but changing these into a technological action figure isn't something the majority of the fanbase will appreciate. Honestly, I don't even think kids will like this as much as LEGO thinks they will, as we have seen before how new tech-based LEGO sets fail quite significantly. I am very curious to see how these sets will end up looking like, and what the ratio of standard playsets, Smart Play playsets, and adult welcome sets will look like. Additionally, I'm curious to see whether these Smart Play minifigures will actually take off, or whether it will become something like the light up minifigures from the mid 2000s, that appeared in a few sets but never again. Already, I think the response is quite clear. People do not want this change implemented into LEGO Star Wars sets, and a lot of people will choose not to buy these sets if the Smart Play feature becomes too in your face, or if the standard minifigure is replaced with the new Smart Play piece. But all that said, let me know what you think about these changes, and whether you think it is good that LEGO is experimenting with something like this. Then I will see you all in the next one. God bless you, and cheers.